just start recording. Okay, go on, start. I think you are on mute, Farhan. Sorry. Can you just unmute yourself? Yeah.
Hi. Sorry. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to Mr. Rajendran for introducing me. And I would like to also record my appreciation to the IEEE organization, as well as to my friend and ex-colleague, Dr. Syed from UiTM as well, for arranging this session to be done today. So for your information, my name is Farhan, Wan Muhammad Farhan. You can call me Farhan, you can call me Wan. So I'm currently the Vice President of Business Enablement in IIB Ventures. So if you guys do not know about IIB, so Iskandar Investment Berhad, it is a GLC, it is a government agency and also a GLC that is owned by Khazanah as well as EPF and also the KPRJ, which is a local state government investment company. So the main focus for IIB is actually to develop this township called the Iskandar, Malaysia. But the story of DRZ Iskandar goes beyond property development only for Johor, but the angle is to build an ecosystem that consists of drones and technology and positioning Malaysia as the regional hub for these two specific technology. But before I go further on that, let me just introduce to everyone about myself as well, because I think this IEEE association has a lot of, I believe that everyone is an engineer here, and most of it is from E&E. So my background is actually mechanical engineering. So I graduated from UNITEN in 2009. So and right after graduation, so I worked in the oil and gas industry as a technician, actually. So as an NDT technician, non-destructive testing. So it's like one of the hardcore work that is within the industry, and at that point of time, even though I didn't study really hard during my university days, so but I really wanted to be an engineer back then. I've worked as an engineer as well for quite some time in my life. 7 years I spent my career in the oil and gas industry, moving from a technician, then I became a project engineer. But I believe back then I realized that doing the same thing over and over again probably is not my forte. Instead of going on the technical route, I went on the management route, trying to manage the projects around the industry that I was in. So I worked for a company called Dynac. Dynac manufactured heat exchangers. They manufactured HVAC system. And then from there, I then worked for a national oil company. So that is where I became a consultant for process engineering team. And at the time, the project was within this organization, and it was called process safety. So I think a lot of you might know as well. So in process safety, so my role is not just confined to a mechanical engineering background. So I have to learn instrumentation, E&E, read all the PNIDs, and then do all the process safety. Try to understand about process, chemical, and all that. Because process safety covers a lot of things, and it's a good time as well back then, because the organization was starting to develop and going into this digitalization as well. So this is where I think it was probably 2015, 2014 back then, I was introduced to drone technology. So that was how I was interested into understanding how a simple technology like drone can have a huge impact on the industry. It saves time, it manages the risk, and there's a lot of applications and also technology that is within this particular drone technology that can cut across verticals and horizontal technologies. So I was very interested back then, and then unluckily or luckily, the oil price drop happened. If you some of you may remember 2015, 2016, probably from 120 ringgit, it was dropped to like half, 60 or even below that. So the project was halted. And then we decided at that point of time, some of us were offered exit packages from the organization, and then some of us left, and I did the same as well. And then I ventured into consulting, and then as luck or fate has it, I managed to get myself into this government agency called MDEC, Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation. So in MDEC, my role back then was to work with technology and startup companies. And then 2 years in working with MDEC, the government back then decided that we need to look forward past the Malaysia multimedia super corridor offerings, and also going past into getting our local companies to just focusing on becoming a system integrator, right? And we were trying to find what is some of the technology, core technology, future technology that Malaysia is good at. And we did some research, and because my passion was trying to get into this drone technology, we did a paper back then, and then we engaged the industry, and we realized that in Malaysia, back in 2016, there was already this few drone companies, for example, like Aerodyne, Ofotech, and Polar Drone at that point of time. And we realized that this is something that probably we need to have a focus on, and then we work towards that and see how the government, with all these different agencies and the industry and academicians, can work together and build this specific industry. And then 2 years down the road, I engaged with IIB, or Iskandar Investment Berhad, together with our partner DHL, Magic, MTDC, supported as well by government agencies like Futurise and even MDEC, to develop this community and also a physical infrastructure where drones and robotic companies can further develop their products and solutions in an environment that has less risk and has the support of government agencies and regulators. So that was how it all started. I'll try to share along the way how things are now developing, and why I think that this is something that it is not just for one particular industry or one particular engineering background, because like all the other industry as well, although in Malaysia drone is not considered as an industry that is part under any ministry in Malaysia at this point of time, but we managed to work together with a few organizations right now, and at this point of time, drone industry is now part under the aerospace industry, which is managed by ministries like MITI in terms of industry development, but in terms of R&D, technology development, regulatory intervention, we got other ministries like mostly Ministry of Science as well as Ministry of Transport in supporting this whole agenda. All right. Okay. So just to share with you, so for the past 1.5 to 2 years, we've been working together with a lot of different partners, not just locally but globally as well, to find out globally what is this drone industry market, and if we are to develop our local companies into this area, is it something that is going to benefit the country, the economy, and the people or not. And what we found out is that we developed a paper together with this company called Drone Industry Insight. So they are a drone research company which is based in Germany, and the market value that we had come up with based on the interviews and market research that we did for drone companies that is based in Malaysia. So the potential market for drone by 2025 in Malaysia alone, so the revenue potential could go up to $300 million by 2025. So that is definitely something that we have to look into, because if you do not develop the industry, if you do not intervene, so this potential market revenue number will not come to materialize. All right. And at this point of time, when we are working together with regulators, partners like CIRIM as well as CAAM, the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia. So the official registered number for drones that is currently in Malaysia officially is 66,000 up to 2020. So that is the official number. So unofficially, we know that the number is actually more than that. All right. So I think in ASEAN, we realize that in terms of maturity, in terms of application, in terms of adoption, in terms of awareness, so Malaysia is the biggest market revenue potential, and in terms of awareness and in terms of adoption as well, compared to other countries in the region, even Singapore. Drone companies in Singapore, they are highly better funded, and they have better development support by the government. And Singapore is even ranked #1 in terms of regulation in the drone space, because they have limited areas where they can fly. But in terms of market, in terms of market potential, in terms of usage, in terms of business potential, so Malaysia is now ranked first. So this is where we feel that there is a need for the government to work together with the industry players to ensure that the actual market potential can be realized. And to do that, the government, the industry players need to also work with the academicians, with the researchers, to provide the right talent, to provide the needed talent to be funneled into this industry, as well as to further develop certain types of technology that could help use drones in specific applications in specific industry. So this is where DRZ Iskandar is currently working together with all these various parties, be it industry players, be it academicians, be it researchers, or other NGOs, regionally, locally, and globally, where we want to bring all these ecosystem partners together, where we will have all of this defined, so that if you have anything that you need within these areas, we will have it here in the DRZ Iskandar. So that is the concept, to become a one-stop center, to become an integrated center. So as you can see here, so by 2025, the goal is to create companies. The goal is to create high-value jobs. The goal is to generate investment values. So I think this is something that we are currently working together with various agency partners, with companies, and everyone within this industry. And again, this industry is not limited to us alone. So I think this is where I would like to advocate as well. So if you are interested, if you want to be part of this ecosystem, do get in touch with us, and we'll try to see and help and get you to bring your value into this community as well. As you can see here, so these are the key pillars of what we are building in the DRZ Iskandar. We have, as you can see here, we have the test site. Where we have this specific area where we will be able to test drones, we'll be able to test autonomous vehicle, we'll be able to test robotics applications. We have the workspace, we have the commercialization and corporate accelerator programs development, talent development, the programs and event, and also the policy intervention and regulation. So just to share with you, currently in the world right now, so this is not a new concept. So this is something that has already been done and benchmarked globally. So as you can see in Japan, for example, the Fukushima drone and robotics city actually is a lot bigger than what we have here in Malaysia. And that is something that we look forward to emulate. So you also have in Europe, we have this Barcelona drone site, and in Malaysia as well. When in 2019, we did work with agencies like CyberView as well as Futurize, where we have this 2-kilometer perimeter for companies to come in and test their drones without having to go to authorities like Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, but they only get permission from the landowner, which is Futurize and CyberView, to test the drone applications. However, because Cyberjaya is situated in between two restricted no-fly zone, which is government offices, which is Putrajaya, as well as KLIA. So the limitation for us to bring in more companies to test other types of applications, drone applications, we realized that we need to have more partners around the region to see how we can further develop and bring in more companies that could test their applications in an even bigger area. So this is where we are able to get partners like IIB, Iskandar Investment Berhad, together with DHL to develop this drone robotic zone Iskandar initiative. So at the moment, briefly, I'll share with you. So at this point of time, in DRZ Iskandar, which is based in Iskandar, Malaysia, Medini. So we have this visual within visual line of sight testing area, which is 25 acres, and also this beyond visual line of sight test area, which is actually a 3,000 acre land, or close to 375 football field area, where we would like to test, not just the multi-copter drones, but also the fixed wing or the VTOL drones that can test applications and even a bigger wide range of applications, such as drone surveillance or even drone delivery, so that companies will be able to do proof of concept and pilots to justify to the end users, to justify to the regulators that this kind of technology, that this kind of application is safe if the right SOP, if the right risk assessment is done, and if the right technology is being adopted. So I think this is something that I would like to highly encourage everyone in this discussion today. So there are, if you are currently an academician or if you are a researcher, so I would like to encourage that the universities, for example, you don't have to just focus on building a drone itself. So because a drone is just a tool, right? And what is more important is the application. And usually the application involves data collection. What kind of data is collected by the drone for what application, for which industry. And with that, there are various applications, there are various industries that can go into, and there are also a lot more research and development that can be done in those areas as well, which I'll try to share later within the slides. Okay, just for your information as well, so for the past 2 years, so we've been meeting up with all these various entities, companies, NGOs, government regulators, agencies, authorities in Malaysia, regionally, globally, and previously our focus was just on gathering and engaging with drone companies, but we are now expanding it to also include robotics as well, because we realize that in Malaysia or even in Southeast Asia, in the ASEAN region, these are the kind of technology ecosystem that are not actually integrated or together. There are pockets of enthusiasts, there are pockets of industry players, developers, companies. They are all over the place, all over Malaysia and all over the region. So what we are doing here is to get everyone to come together so that we know what each other are good at, and then on top of that, we would be able to support each other in serving the industry. So like in Malaysia, for example, most of our drone technology companies are within the services sector. So we have companies like Aerodyne, Ofotech, who are focusing on construction, are focusing on energy inspection, are focusing on, and companies like Polar Drone, Meraki, and Mata Aerotech, they are developing their drone applications to serve plantation as well as agriculture industry. So everyone has their own focus area, they have their own specialty, and this is something that we would like the companies to work together, because for Malaysia alone, for example, so we have 5 million hectares of plantation land. And for paddy, for example, we have 600,000 hectares of paddy lands. And for applications such as drone spraying, for example, in the early days, before drones are relatively affordable for end users to use, drones are being used for probably within the surveying industry, where it is used to do mapping and surveying. So those applications and those drone types, usually acquire end users to pay probably from 250,000 ringgit up to 500,000 ringgit to acquire that drone itself. Not just to get the services yet, but for the past 5 years, because of the technology advancement, because of the growth of companies like DJI, Skydio, the cost of drone has dropped drastically. So this has helped other conventional industries like plantation, agriculture, to be able to adopt drones even faster. But even now, just for your information, even with all the news, if you go to your Facebook, or if you heard in social media right now, people all over Malaysia, from Kedah, Perlis, Kelantan, Sabah, Sarawak, Johor, everyone is now using drones in all sorts of applications. And even with that, probably out of the 5 million hectare of plantation, 600,000 hectares, probably there's only less than 5% of our agriculture and plantation industry is currently adopting this kind of technology. And it will require more investment by the end users. It will require more investment by the company, by the services company, to further develop that technology, and also to train the talents to actually deploy the solutions into the market. So we are estimating, companies like Aerodyne, for example, is estimating by 2022, they have to hire and train and reskill 1,000 drone operators, so that they would be able to meet the current demand of their existing end users. So I think the number will keep on growing once the end user is more aware and are more receptive to understanding that this kind of technology will bring benefit to them in terms of safety, in terms of optimization, in terms of increasing the yield for their businesses as well. So if you can see, all these companies, all these organizations, you can see here, in the academic and training institution, because I think probably a lot of the audiences here today comes from academic background. So everyone in the university has, in a way, developed their own technology, their own research related to drones. But I think this is where, when we talk to universities like UTM, UIA, UTHM, UNITAN, UPNM, there are a lot of research that is being done by all these various universities. So our role as an industry enabler, so what we want to do is to make sure that all the research that is currently being done and all the government grants that is being funneled into developing all this technology can be turned into products that can be commercialized and can be used by the industry. So this is where we are playing our role to ensure that all these drone companies that has certain services, that knows the industry requirements, work together with the universities, with the research institutions, so that they can develop the right applications, they can develop the right technology, they develop the right product that serves the purpose of the industry. So if you can see here, so things are now going into the right direction, where we can see that our local technology companies are now developing their own drone and also drone technology applications. Because in terms of volume, countries like China, Taiwan, once they develop a product, they have a bigger market. So for company that develops products in Malaysia, so if we do not have volume to develop our product, then the market that we are serving will only be Malaysia. Then that is not something that we encourage companies to do, because eventually it wouldn't make business sense as well. So what we are currently advocating is that all the drone technology companies work together with research institutions and ensure that the products that they are developing is not just for local market alone. Whatever you are developing, you need to make sure that your product, your solutions, your applications is something that is needed in the industry, regional industry, and global industry as well. So in a lot of the discussion that we had with government agencies, government ministries that actually provides government grants and allocations to develop technology related to drones, and our recommendations to them is to focus on two areas. So you can focus on a lot of area, but to be practical, if we want to be known, if Malaysia wants to be known as something that the global drone community looks at, how can we become a champion in that area, in that manner? So practically, two areas that we can try to look at is to develop technology that is in battery to help drones fly longer, and also the telecommunication technology, where we would be able to help drone companies, drone manufacturers to get their drones to fly further or within an environment where the drones need to communicate within other drones. So that technology is what we call the unmanned traffic management system. So that is how each drones, swarm drones work together, identify each other, so that the drones in the future would be able to communicate with each other. Because eventually that is the future that we see, like in Malaysia, regionally, from Malaysia to Singapore, from Singapore to Indonesia, drone is going to become the combination of the aviation industry and the automotive industry. So logistically, drone is not as expensive as the aviation, commercial aviation, and not as big as the automotive industry, where you have all these cars around, or even logistics like lorries and all that. But drones will become a middle mile or a last mile application technology. So in the future, what we are envisioning is that everyone will have a drone, just like how everyone has a mobile phone at this moment at their home. But in order for us to be able to do that, everyone needs to work with each other. Drones also share the same airspace with military, share the same airspace with aviation industry and airlines industry. So this is where the further development of regulation come along together, as well with the technology development and innovation, and also the awareness part, where the community, the people understands the risk that if you need to fly a drone, you need to have the right technology, you need to have the right permits. If you are flying the drones within certain heights, all of that needs to be done together. So which is why we feel that this drone ecosystem, this drone community need to come together within all different aspects of the community. And just to share with you the potential, the drone industry verticals, as well as the drone industry applications. So if you are currently developing or trying to find ideas, or trying to develop a new drone application in the industry. So if you can see here, so currently the majority of the drone companies, services, as well as technology companies are currently serving these industry verticals within these specific areas. So mostly within the mapping and surveying applications, as well as inspection applications, across all these different industry verticals. So you can see here, energy, construction, transportation, agriculture. And you can see here, so where this 0% shows that globally, there are little or none yet available. So if you do want to explore, if you want to develop new applications, new technology, this is where we would advise you to go into. So if you can see here, so spraying, seeding, delivery. So this is where currently the newer industry are going to pick up within the next few years. So these applications here are non-exhaustive. So these are the main ones at this point of time. So there are other applications as well that is not listed here that I'm going to share as well. So as you can see here, so these are the various industry verticals, as well as specialization. So this is where every time we engage universities, every time we engage students, new talents, if you are in all these various backgrounds, be it finance, or probably mechanical, or computer science, AR, VR, or even security, esports, this is where we see that drone technology, the drone industry cuts across all these verticals, and I think this is what we are encouraging and advocating as well. So there are all these different applications, different use cases. So if you feel that this is something that you are currently doing, but probably the industry is not yet supporting, or the government doesn't know how to further develop that specific application, you come to us, This is where we would like to further assist and help you to further grow this specific industry where you are in at this point of time. So as you can see on this right side as well, so globally, so these are the different types of technology verticals that technology companies are developing within this drone industry. So as you can see here, the insurance stack, the analytics part, the data platform, the flight management, planning, tracking, the connectivity part, companies like Verizon, AT&T, they are all developing all sorts of new technology, new verticals, new applications to help drones to be able to serve the industry better. So I think this is where currently at the moment, companies, drone technology companies in Malaysia are not yet having that specific focus. So I think at this moment, most of our companies are doing services, but I think this is good because at least at this point of time, because our drone companies are now engaging the end users, and they are now engaging the end users probably at a specific department, division, and industry. But now that they are in this specific organization, they can further explore how drone technology can help further scale within other businesses within those industries and end users as well. So I think this is where all these current drone technology companies probably could work together with the association, IEEE association members, community to further help add value proposition to the drone companies that is currently serving all these different end users in Malaysia as well as globally as well. So just to share with you, because to fly a drone, this is not just a challenge in Malaysia, but this is a challenge globally. So because to fly a drone, you share the same airspace with aviation, military. Obviously there are certain requirements given, and obviously there are certain permits or licenses that is required. But I think for the past 1.5 years, the Ministry of Transport, together with agencies and authorities like Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, has been really progressive and supportive. And as you can see here, for example, so previously, prior to 2019, the drone industry refers to the unmanned aerial system, or UAS. That there is a specific category within the Malaysian Civil Aviation Regulation 2016, where there is a specific line to show that if you are flying in Malaysia, you are doing a commercial operation, you use drones within certain category of weight, you need to comply to certain requirements. And in 2020, a new civil aviation directive have been announced by Civil Aviation Authority, where they are more open to see how newer types of drone applications and technology could be adopted in real life application to be able to meet commercialization requirement for the end users. But now we are working together with the end user, together with the technology partner, and working together with regulators to see how all of this can be done safely within a commercial environment. And I think this is something that we need to keep on working together, and not just in terms of building that safe operating procedures and processes, but in terms of developing the technology as well. So as you can see here, in Singapore, in Australia, for example, like in India right now, requirements are really strict, and as you can see here, no foreign operators are allowed. So now at the moment, Malaysia is we are an open economy, so we support our local drone technology companies, and we also encourage foreign drone technology companies to come into Malaysia to test their drone technology and applications as well. So all these regulations and requirements, instead of treating them as a hindrance, we are looking at it as an opportunity and also as a challenge to the drone industry players and also the researchers, the academicians, to use this problem statements and turn that into opportunity, into innovation. For example, like when we engage with the CEO of Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia, they are really supportive in trying to ensure that drone companies are able to fly all over Malaysia, for example, and ensure that no incident happen. But in order to do that, the Civil Aviation Authority and other government authorities like JUPAM, CIRIM, MCMC, we need to see more innovation in terms of communication, in terms of security, in terms of battery capabilities, to ensure that, probably also in terms of safety, how if a drone falls down, what are the safety mechanism in terms of announcing in certain areas. So these are all the kind of problem statement that arises from this challenge that we are currently facing. So this is what we want the innovators, the companies out there to work together to solve this problem together. So as you can see here, I'll just share briefly. So Mr. Rajan, do let me know if I'm running out of time, yeah? So just to share with you, so this is currently the current US regulation by Civil Aviation Authority.
Probably another 10
and
minutes.
This is
probably, sorry, you could probably take another 10 minutes and that's fine. We can let them.
All right. So this applies to both hobbyists, to researchers, and to commercial operators as well. And if you are a commercial operator, obviously you need to have a specific permit and license for you to operate. And now, together with, as I mentioned earlier, DRZ Iskandar, together with Magic, together with Civil Aviation Authority, Futurize, so we have developed this program called the Sandbox, National Technology Innovation Sandbox, where DRZ Iskandar is also one of the approved sandbox by this within this program, where we would be able to test applications that has not yet been commercialized in Malaysia. But what we need to have is to meet the requirements by the authorities, such as having the right risk assessment, having the right technology like the unmanned traffic management system, the emergency response, and all these other requirements by the authority. So this is one step into the right direction. And I think this is where engineers, such as yourself, this is where we have to work together within your organization, within your industry, probably within your university or research institution, to provide your innovation, your value proposition, to probably to try to add value, to innovate. And this can be done because the new addendum by Civil Aviation Authority, where they now have this specific Civil Aviation Directive, which is specific for special UAS project, where we would be able to test drone technology applications that is not yet commercialized in Malaysia. So this is where we are at now. So I think this is something that I would like you to, I would highly encourage everyone that is listening in here today to see how your area of expertise, your area of research can be something that can add value to not just the end users, the clients, but to the technology companies in this industry as well. So I'm going to go briefly to share with you as well. So we are part of this robotics and automation sandbox by MOSTI, NTIS, and MTDC. So if you have the right technology, we would like to help you connect with the end user. And if your technology meets certain requirement, there would also be certain funding available for you as well. And your technology could be able to be tested within our area or within the area of the end users. So if you have those kind of technology, do come and talk to us, and we'll try to further explore on that. Okay. So I'm just going to share some use cases of what is currently being done, by our local researchers, by our local companies, because I just would like to share, that this is not something that is cannot, it's not something that is new, it's not being done yet, but this is something that our local talent, our local universities, companies has already been doing, and there are a lot of good technology application that is currently being done and being supported by various government agencies and industry as well. We have researchers such as Prof. And Dr. Rizal from UiTM developing this technology, UTM, the team in UTM, Prof. Atif developing the ducting inspection robots, this medical drone delivery being done by Dr. Rosdiadi from UKM, and drone technology companies, like Aerodyne, for example. Even Aerodyne, for company like Aerodyne, they even acquire technology companies from overseas to meet the industry demand. So if you have this kind of technologies, and you do not have the reach to engage with Aerodyne, you come and talk to us. We would like companies like Aerodyne to actually invest in your technology so that they would be able to use your technology to serve their end users. Just to share with you as well, we have UTM, UMW working together to develop a drone and robotic solutions in warehousing. Local company like Pan Aviation developing drone delivery for cargo, and recently I think you've heard, UTHM developed this drone cargo product and application as well. And just to share with you, and I'll share with Mr. Rajan later as well, the deck that I have here. So these are all some of the drone companies that I would like to highlight. So probably, if you are looking for career opportunity, if you are looking for technology partner that you want to work with, so let us know, and we will try to help you connect with these various drone technology companies that is within our ecosystem. We have great companies like Aerodyne, who is currently ranked first globally as the drone services company in the world. Aerodyne, a company like Meraki, who is focusing on technology, drone technology within plantation and agriculture. We have companies like Polar Drone, companies like Ofotech. These companies won accolades, not just in Malaysia, but regionally and globally as well. So I think this is something that you don't actually find in other industries. So I think this is where I think we, as a country and as an ecosystem supporter and enabler, I think this is what we want to do for our industry partners. So if you are one of these drone technology companies, we would like to assist and help you grow and scale as well. And as I'm gonna go skim through, we have companies like Asia Drone, Mata Aerotech, V-Stream, who is actually focusing on drone consulting and insurance. We have Braintree Technology, Archie Drone, and just to share with you overall in terms of comparing our local drone companies on a global scale, we are not that far off as well. For example, we have companies like ACSL, Terra Drone, Pablo Air. they are able to raise money by developing products and technology that our local companies are also developing as well. So if you ask me, nothing is impossible. So if companies like Aerodyne, if companies like ACSL, Pablo Air can develop their drone technology, their drone solution, product and services, you would be able to do that as well. And we can become your conduit to help you reach that level. And just to share with you, I think this is my last slide. We have this drone venture capitalist, drone VC, that is based in Japan called Dronefun. So they have this vision to see the world transform using technology like drones and robotics. And at this moment, they fund companies from ideation up to scale stages. Now they have at least 40 over companies within their portfolio, and they are planning to invest $1 billion in this drone technology space alone. So I think this is where the audiences together in IEEE, if you are in the right industry, if you have the right technology applications, solutions, innovations, do come and talk to us. Do not keep it to yourself. Talk to your partners. Talk to association members like IEEE. They would be able to connect you to us so that we would be able to explore how we can ensure that your innovation, your technology can reach its full potential. So I think this is my last slide. Sorry, Mr. Rajan. So just to share with you, globally, there's thousands of drone technology companies and services out there. And at this moment, we have 4 drone services companies that is ranked globally. So these 4 drone companies right now is ranked number first, Aerodyne, we have Meraki, Polar Drone, and Ofotech as well, which rank top 40 on the global drone service ecosystem. So I'm waiting to have more drone technology companies listed in this ranking as well to put Malaysia on the map in this specific drone technology industry ecosystem. So with that, I end my session. Thank you so much. So if you have any question, and as I end my session, always, if you have a dream to fly, we will help you to elevate you to reach for the sky. Thank you so much. I'm open to any questions that you have from the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Farhan. Okay, if you have any questions, you can raise your hands or put up in the chat box. We can actually look into that. At the moment, I haven't seen any raised hands and so on. I'll just start with my question here. You highlighted a bit about drone technology. Yes, go on. You can raise your question. This one, so you can put it in the chat, or you can also ask as well. Yes, Mohammed Said, go on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Farhan, for this very interesting presentation and talk. Actually, I'm Dr. Said from UTHM. We have CS centers. We focus on a few things on drone technology also. I just want to ask about just 2 points regarding this. I'm wondering about it, honestly. First thing, in terms of stability, especially in country like Malaysia, where it's tropical weather and maybe like sometimes suddenly windy. So in terms of the stability of the drone, when it take off or in landing, I didn't see much like also work in fixed wing. Maybe fixed wing, a little bit drone is a more advanced technology, but I think it's more stable also, fixed wing technology. Another thing, I think personally, I totally agree with you. Maybe now the next phase in Malaysia is to develop some swarm technology for critical mission. And this like more for society benefit, especially in terms of firefighting, rescue mission. Because actually I saw some very interesting scenario where, for example, drone, in case of fire, let's say in hotels in higher level or higher floors, 20 above, the drone very effective. It can come exactly to the spot of the fire in certain floor, and it can fight directly in the maybe best service way. So sometimes we need like not only one drone, 2 drones, 3 drones as a swarm to collaborate together for critical mission tasks, like firefighting in forest, in buildings, high buildings, in these things. So in terms of these 2 points, the stability of the drone in the weather of tropical weathers and maybe the fixed wing drone, number 1, and number 2, what's the level of swarm drone in technology in critical mission, which can be like for firefighting, for forest, for flood, for so many good applications of the society.
Understood. Good question. So I'll try to answer both based on my experience. Okay. So back in 2019, so there is this company called Wings. I'm not sure if you guys are aware. So if you can Google Wings, so if you can Google Wings, Wings is also a company that Google funded to help try to figure out if this drone delivery technology is something that they would like to further go and develop. Okay, so Wings sent a team to meet us back in 2019 to see if Malaysia would be the next country for them to be able to test their fixed wing drone technology to be tested in an environment, weather condition. So they're looking for a terrain because previously Wing tested their drone delivery application in Australia and in the US, where the humidity is different, where the weather is different, and the topography is different. But if they were to sell their services in tropical countries, around the equator, they need to find a country where they can test their current drone and its technology, the wings, the material, the batteries, and I don't know, the motors and all that in a similar environment. So they come to Malaysia and they were trying to figure out, either probably to do a testing probably in Langkawi or probably in Sarawak or in Johor. So, but the point is that, eventually, so as you mentioned, for a fixed wing drone, so obviously it is more stable to land because it has the similar dynamics as a scaled down aeroplane. So in terms of flying in probably a much heavier or a high wind condition, it will be able to land if there's an airstrip, right? But what if we are now using a different type of drone, a VTOL drone or a multi-copter drone? How would that affect in terms of weather condition? I think this is where a lot of the foreign drone technology companies are trying to figure out as well. And for us in Malaysia, our drone technology companies are doing that as well at the moment. However, not everyone is doing it because it would take a lot more research and funding to actually go deeper into that. And for your information, all the drone batteries are not manufactured in Malaysia or even in the equator climate country. So actually, you can see that there's a difference. So for example, when a drone battery is developed in country like China, where the weather condition has a lower humidity percentage, then when we keep that battery in a country like Malaysia, the wear and tear becomes even more faster. So there should be more development in terms of battery technology to fit country that has high humidity and temperature. That's number one. And for example, like you were saying, like the wind condition for landing, or even wind condition to fly, or in rain condition. So obviously at this point of time, the regulators are saying in bad condition, the technology simply cannot we cannot allow you to fly in at night in certain windy condition, and also probably during rain, but with improvement of technology. So this is where programs like NTIS, all this developmental program, innovation program by the government is trying to help local innovators such as yourself to work together with a drone manufacturer or drone technology company to prove to the regulators that we have the right technology to help a drone fly at night, for example, or to help a drone fly in rainy condition, for example. Right? And these are the kind of technology that our local company can actually sell to bigger drone manufacturer companies, because big drone companies like DJI or even Skydio, they're not looking at this, because their business is to ensure that year on year you keep on buying new drones, so it is even better for them if you keep on buying broken batteries that probably only last for a few months, but for the end users, for the clients, for the technology companies, they are the ones that would benefit from the development of better drone technology, better material development, and all that. So I think this is something that if you are looking into developing, work with an industry partner and solve a specific solution that specific problem statement that they are currently having. So that's number one. So number two, in terms of swarm technology as well, at the moment, because of the lack of understanding, awareness, and advocacy. So the regulators are telling us, if you can prove to us that your technology in terms of telecommunication in between the drones itself and the monitoring in terms of the command center, for example, and once you tested, for example, like 10,000 flying hours, zero incident, then the regulators will say, okay, we will allow for drone swarm activity to be done, let's say, for military purpose, for emergency cases, or for whatever applications, if we are able to showcase to them in a POC or in a pilot environment that this the application, the swarm technology, is now available and it can be done. So now all the regulators, all the authority is asking from us is to prove to them that the technology works. So if the technology is there now, come and talk to us. We will show it to the regulators, and we provide a white paper, a case study, and then after that the regulators will decide what kind of regulation that needs to be further improved. All right. So I hope that answered the question.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, the question I wanted to ask is, you highlighted about drones plus the robotics. Is there any type of companies that focus on both of this technology for their purposes within the Malaysian context?
Good question. So at this moment, so obviously like previously, I think like probably the last 2 years, when you talk about force IR, industrial revolution, everyone talks about AI. Before AI, people talk about big data. After big data, people talk about AI, and then machine learning, and then IoT. Probably IoT is even before that. So for us, drone and robotics are within similar category. But the only reason why we are promoting drones is because drone excites people. It excites you, it excites me, it excites the kids, it excites the pachi-machi, even if you're not technologically inclined, you would be excited to see a drone flying and you would want to learn from that. So this is the strategy that we had earlier, where instead of trying to push the understanding of AI, big data to people that can't see them, because it's non-tangible. But a drone is physical hardware, and like robotics as well. So it's there. So it's easier for us to introduce the force IR technology concept to the common people through this kind of technology. And because the cost is relatively affordable now, everyone are able to use that. So in terms of technology application for drones and robotics, I'm just going to give you an example because I believe there are a lot of drone companies that goes to both of these verticals. They are developing drones, and at the same time they're developing unmanned ground vehicle, and at the same time they are also developing AI, imaging, data reporting, data capture, all kinds of IoT devices planted in their client's asset, to be able to track whatever is inside. So everything is being developed, and for example, I'll just give you one example. For example, like Sime Darby plantation, for example. Aside from engaging technology companies locally that has drone and robotics solution, they're also developing internal team and capabilities to be able to develop their own drone and robotics products and innovation that could help them improve their processes and also increase yields within their organization and within their industry. So the answer is yes. So I think you can't separate actually like drones and robotics. It's just in terms of how, because at the end of the day, it's business. You need to raise money. So if if a bank or a VC is more inclined to investing in robotics, then you angle your technology as robotics. If they are more inclined to drones, drones can be a ground drone, and robots in that manner can be a ground robot on either on water, above water, underwater. So they are all drones and robotics. Only probably the difference is that you have unmanned aircraft vehicle, and then you have because drone itself, drone drone is actually an acronym for something that I can't remember, but previously drone used to refer to military reconnaissance unmanned drones unmanned aircraft. That is what drones is used to be referred to. But that is semantics. You can't call it whatever you want. Like previously, the military community or even the Civil Aviation Authority, they do not like the term drone because it confuses people. But I think eventually we need to move beyond that. Probably in the future, probably drone is going to be called something else. But it doesn't matter. As long as it creates value, it creates value in terms of improving our social life, in helping us to have a better living, create economic advantages. We want to support this kind of innovative and future industries.
Okay, thank you. According to Google, it says the drone acronym stands for Dynamic Remotely Operated Navigation Equipment. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Do you have a question? We have a question from Dr. Ang from Nila University. Is there any research funding available under DRZ Iskandar project, or you can point us some available funding out there, or any sponsorship from DRZ Iskandar in developing drone technology?
Good question. So it depends on the level, the maturity level of your current product development. So if it is TRL 5 and below, you come and talk to us. We'll try to figure out where, how best we can further improve your specific application and technology, and then we can engage either government agencies like MTDC or Cradle, or any grants available in MOSTI. Then come and talk to us, because we understand what they are looking for. And if your technology is already TRL 5, 6, 5 and above, then the National Technology Innovation Sandbox is the grant and fund that you should go into. So you come and talk to us, and we'll try to facilitate and assist you on how you are able to get that.
Okay, thank you. So I think we've reached almost 4:50 now, Malaysian time. So thank you for joining us today. Before we close the session, it'll be good if we can have a photo with all the participants. So if you can turn on your cameras, that'll be good, so we can take a photo with you.
Thank you. I hope it has been insightful.
Yeah,
for everyone.
So one other thing I want to ask is that, is there a possibility for you to share your slides with us? We can put it in our website along with the recording here.
Yes. I've shared a copy to Dr. Syed. So maybe Dr. Syed can share with the rest of the team.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to pass it.
Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you. So I'll just stop recording.